Big dog status.
Big dog status, I'm a big dog vet. I pull up on the block in a big Corvette. Yeah. Ride around the city with a stick all black. Try with a dope, but we win all that. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. $80 million and I can't go back. Got a lot of jewelry on me, man, you can't hold that. So ask him better, tell him that I ain't so crack. Know your money long when your people can't fold that. I'm ballin', yeah. My mama told me that did my calling. I keep that stick, I don't do no brawling. Open out the doors and let them all in here. Yeah, they all in here. Big dog, they come out the game. Big dog, heavy petty, don't break my wrist off.
Right, we're back here again. Okafor and Halde with all the live match reaction with that England and Italy game. I think before we start, I think we need to say the speedy recovery for Jack Willis. I think that was an awful injury. And it probably brings us on to our first talking point. I think the breakdown and the rules regarding the breakdowns come back up again. For me personally, like I was saying to Halde during the chat, it's one of those issues that 9 times out of 10, it happens. If you can go watch the whole game back, it happens all the time. Nothing happens. People just get up from it. But the one time something does happen, it goes really wrong. I mean, we're looking at potential cruciate knee injuries. So he's really trying to pick up some form now, and he just seems to get these injuries at the wrong time. And for me, I think it's time for World Rugby to step up and protect the players. We talk about head injuries and HIAs, but let's referee the breakdown properly. Let's have proper rules that govern how the breakdown is managed so we can limit these injuries, because it's happening far too much where we've got croc rolls causing significant injuries to players.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously just echo John's sentiments there from everybody. For RugbyPass, the most speediest of recoveries to Jack Willis. World Rugby, it's been a big thing, concussion. They've been reffing it, the tackles, anything to do with the head, shoulders to head. We saw that last weekend with Peter O'Mahony getting sent off for going in contact with the head. And yeah, it should maybe become a time now when we do look at the other situations, especially when the Rocks are now becoming so competitive, which is an absolutely amazing aspect of World Rugby. Absolutely brilliant. International rugby, any games rugby. Seeing the breakdown as a brilliant context, especially for forwards. We love that stuff. We live on that stuff. So it's about finding that perfect balance, about making it safe, but again, not becoming like our American brothers and sisters with having to wear helmets and big shields and things like that. But hey, overall, England beating Italy 41-18. And that's a big scoreline, John. At the first half, don't know if it was looking that way, especially when old Monty got in there at the corner in the first few minutes. But John, as an English supporter, 41-18, bonus point in the bag after last weekend, you've got to be relatively happy, yeah?
Satisfied but not happy is the best way to describe that performance. In terms of job done, yes, we've got the bonus point. We've put significant points on them, so it's improved our points difference and all that stuff. So going into later rounds, hopefully those things add up. I feel like it wasn't a professional job. For me, especially how we played against Scotland, I would love to go in with the case of we've gone in with a pretty strong team considering it's Italy, and we've just gone in, we've shut them out, similar to what France did. We don't let them get going, because there were moments in that game where the Italians did get front football, their tails are up, they're excited. And for me, I just think that there's a lot more to come for England. I don't think we are humming at our best yet. Hopefully, as we're going through the next couple of match weeks, England do start picking up the performances. But I'll take the bonus points. Beggars can't be choosers at the moment. And I think I take all the points, really.
Yeah, absolutely. not so much a day of redemption, but maybe getting there. For me, it was a slightly Jekyll and Hyde kind of feel today. I mean, England went on. We spoke about that. England came on in the first 15, 20 minutes. It almost looked like they didn't want to be there. It almost looked like they didn't really get out of third gear. They were taking it as a training exercise, which lots of games in rugby are training exercises. But it almost seemed like they didn't want to be there. And again, Jekyll and Hyde performances a wee bit. I thought Kyle Sinclair was outstanding, and rightly so. He got man of the match today. He's number 3 Lions Test jersey come this summer. Players that we need to speak about as well. Owen Farrell. Don't know if he had the match again today. That he needed a big match. Obviously, 10 took a lot on his shoulders for the performance, the Cup match. Moving to 12, so we can see that well worked Ford Farrell axis that's done Eddie Jones so well. For me, I don't think it clicked today, John. I don't think it clicked.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't think Farrell's match fit. You know, I think he's a step or two off the pace. Numerous knock-ons. We can talk about his potential head-to-head. I feel like for me, he's one of those players that he just unnecessarily exposes himself in those scenarios. Like, why? There's no need. Even if it's not a red card, even if it is slightly late or on the borderline, the ball's gone. The ball's 3 or 4 players past you. Like, it literally is. For me, there's just no need. Like, not from our captain, not from our talisman in midfield. We can't have a player like that exposing himself and putting the team in such a compromising position. We've got Idris Lewis saying, do you believe that England need to improve on their mistakes, such as knock-ons and bad passes, to have a chance to win the Six Nations? Yes, I think we just need to tidy everything up. When we get to France, Ireland, Wales, they will punish us. Let's call it what it is. Italy, we can get away with that because we know we've given them the ball back, we can wait a couple more phases. They're going to cough it up, or we might have a chance at a turnover. But when we start playing like the big boys, you know, we've got France, Wales, and Italy, and Ireland coming up. Sorry, we can't be giving the ball back, because if we give them the ball back that easy, we might not be seeing it for 2 or 3 minutes, and we'd be under the pump. So yes, I do believe that England do need to clean up how clinical they are if we're going to have a real chance of having a chance of winning the Six Nations.
Absolutely, and I think England were helped slightly with Italy's inept kicking game today. World Rugby, international rugby, kicking is such an integral part of winning any match. We had young Gabrisi and we had Kana coming at 12. So Italy almost had their own wee axis going as well. Kana seems to be more of a kicker than Gabrisi, but obviously coming at 12, he's obviously sucked into all your centre duties. So it's left to a 20-year-old Gabrisi. And he did not have a good game on the boot. In fact, a couple of the tries, one of the try, Watson's try, came straight from a kick. And I think Italy are coming, but again, tactically for me, Italy are getting there. But for instance, let's go back to Willis's try. I mean, he went over that line facing Varney, number 9, and Gabrisi, number 10. And this is at the side of a ruck. You know, what is number 9 and 10 doing there on the try line where it should be your big, ugly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5s? Yeah. And that, to me, is just a bit of a tactically thing that Italy maybe aren't there. Obviously, Franco's doing all he can, and it's happening. But yeah, that's the sort of things that you have to do on the coaching part rather than on the game. Had a great call here from Ohio. Monty's getting that kind of space to score tries and beat Daly on the outside. What will Terry Thomas and Liam Williams do? Absolutely. I thought Monty Loney had an amazing game. A fantastic game. This is only still his 3rd, 4th cap. I think this is only his 2nd try for Italy. He's going to be a fantastic wee player. They get him into space, then they'll do it. And we saw when the kicking game did work, when Gabrisi did float the ball over, Luani caught it, and then he absolutely burned Daly. I don't think Daly had a great game at the races, John.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great question. It's a great point. For me, Daly, we're talking about Saracens players not being off the mark, not being on the mark again. I think Daly, bar his try, he was poor again. He had Monte Ioane absolutely he was having his life all game. I think 1-on-1, he had the beating of him. I think Daly again is a step or two slow. So for me, when we get to like Wales, Ireland, France, the Teddy Thomas, Liam Williams, they're going to get really excited. They're going to say, hold on a minute, like we can target Daly. Let's see if we can get him into 2-on-1 situations, 1-on-1 situations with our more lively wingers and really test his tackling. again, like you said, you talk about Italy's kicking game. For me, like I was saying to you during the game, I think it was really poor, really poor. And I questioned. For me, we know how deadly the back three are. We'll speak about Watson and Johnny Makes. I think they had really good games compared to last week. But why are you not kicking the ball out on the full? You're in your 22. You don't want to give those sort of runners broken field. Give them broken field. They're lighting up. They're going to torch you, and we saw it today. So I think maybe tactically they may have got that wrong, keeping the ball in field from the kicks. But overall, I think they need to get sort that kicking game out. Speaking of Watson and May, I think they're really good today. Really good. And it shows how good England can be once we get our live wires on the ball. Like, as the picture showing up, May's try was unbelievable. I mean, that's rugby league-esque. You know, we don't really get those sort of tries in unions from our wingers. And for him, the timing for him was probably spot on. A little bit earlier or a little bit later, we're saying it's jumping into the tackle, you know. But for me, it's a great finish. And it's really promising to see, like, those two get their hands on the ball. We had Watson, mean right foot step, beat the fullback, and he scored. I think he got 2 tries as well. So for me, those two look really good. And hopefully Eddie Jones can get those sort of guys into the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Another opinion there from Idris. Do you think England's first try should have counted? We'll talk about the tries because, there has been comments about knock-ons and double movements and things like that. Given on the day, not given on another day. But going back to the whole Gabrici thing, that's when Italy have a very young side. And that was Clive Woodward who made the point beforehand. He said, Italy seem to always be building for the future. They're always building for the future. But what about now? What about today? Six Nations is happening today. What about that? And as you say, Gabrici, he's not kicking out in the full. He's making immature choices because he's a young standoff, young fly half. That is when you would look for your experience from 9. You know, what Italy would have given to have a Tronc on there at number 9, telling him what to do, or Campagnaro out on his outside, saying, come on, mate, calm down, chill, and we'll do it together. Daly at fullback, it's an interesting point. Cheers Ohio again. How will Ollie Lawrence have felt watching the game? We'll get onto that as well. Ollie Lawrence, this would have been his game to come back onto England's selection. I don't know if Eddie Jones got the selection right, and we'll go back to Daly one more time. If Daly didn't have a good game today, didn't have the best game last week, what other options do England have at fullback?
I think at fullback, we've got Max Malins. I'm a big fan of him. He's down at Bristol. He was obviously at Saracens before, and he's been a live wire for them. He's been really good for Bristol. So I think if we're saying we're going to rotate out Daly, saying he's not fit, then someone like Max Malins can definitely step in that role. Also, we do have Watson, who's played Test match rugby at 15. A lot of people do consider Watson as a 15. So for me, going on to like the Wales game and in the next 2 weeks, I think that's where we can test those sort of combinations in training, in camp, see what it looks like. Ed Phillips, great question. Thoughts on the Willis injury? Is it one of those things that happen in rugby, or should the RFU be doing something to stop this? Like we said earlier at the start of the show, for me, these sort of injuries can be mitigated. I know everyone keeps saying, the game's gone soft and the game's losing like what it means to play rugby. But like the commentators were saying, like he's on, like the guy is on the floor and he's put all his crop rolled him and all his weight and like the rotational movement, all that biomechanics, studs in the ground, it's going to end one way. So for me, RFU, all the rugby councils need to come together and say, right, let's make it in black and white, in the laws, you cannot croc roll. If you need to put it in inverted commas, rotate, whatever they need to do, make it as black and white as possible for the referees to ref that breakdown now. Because it's starting to get ridiculous for me. And we keep talking about player welfare. It's a buzzword at the moment. So everyone thinks we're talking about concussions and whatnot. But it goes to the breakdown as well, because these jacklers do put themselves in compromising positions. Yeah,
when you've got a big guy like Negri all over you, it's only going to end one way, I think. And maybe the whole crop rolls, will that impact too much on the speed of the ball coming out? I don't think so. Will it impact too much the ball being held up in play? I don't think so too much. Wee question there from Phil. Thanks, Phil, for joining in. Where is Eddie Jones taking this England team? It does seem a bit directionless at the moment, and you would like to think after that many years and seasons at the helm, Eddie Jones, who's got his team around him, Matt Proudfoot, Mitchell, a good bunch of guys about him, arguably, as Clive Woodward himself said, one of the most exciting and potentially incredible English teams since 2003. Where is he going to be taking them? Because they've won. They were in the World Cup final, obviously. They then went to win the autumn tests, be it an extra time against France. But then they lost last week to Scotland. And would you say today was a big, successful day for England? I don't know. Do you think, John, are some players maybe not playing for Eddie Jones? Or is it just because of coronavirus, Saracens, loads of different factors?
I think it is English rugby is probably one of the biggest victims in terms of this whole coronavirus pandemic. I mean, we have a core of our squad coming from Saracens. We know about the Saracens situation. We know like they're trying to work it out. So I think we've been really unfortunate in that aspect. But in terms of the directionlessness about it, for me, it's like he's been in charge now. What's going on? 4 or 5 years now. So for me, I'm more of the case. Okay, where are we going now? You know, in terms of how long do you need to get a squad ready in terms of consistently challenging for Six Nations? Thereabouts for World Cups. We've come from a World Cup final. We squeaked past the Autumn Nations Cup. We didn't play our best rugby in the final. Then after that, we've lost to Scotland and we put a less than professional performance against Italy. Where is the state of the team right now? So, like everyone says, this 4-year cycle, but like, why can't England, being one of the biggest playing pools in the whole of world rugby, why aren't we not ready today? Does that make sense? Why aren't England ready to go today to actually challenge for these things? You know, challenge for Six Nations, really kick on and actually try win the World Cup. And for me, that's where my frustrations lie for England. Great question from William. Do you think Ford should be starting more? Based on this performance, yes, I think some of these tries did come from Ford. Some of the tries from England did come from Ford going off script. Like take, for example, May's try. Ford came onto the blind side, created something out of pretty much nothing, and flowed a perfect ball for May to take advantage. So for me, I think we probably need to go back to that forward foul access for now. It's a trusted Eddie Jones system. He likes those two players. And I think that should be where we like base our attack going on today. So that's where I feel about it. I don't know about you.
Well, we got obviously we've got a rest next weekend, which always sucks for the Six Nations. We're all left twiddling with thumbs doing nothing. So the week after, we've obviously Italy are going to Rome. They're going back home for their first home match for the Six Nations. They've got Ireland. I like to see Italy bounce on from this. I would like to see Maury probably start. I thought he came on, had an absolutely cracking game. He's one of these players that are a wee bit loose. They just want to run to the ball. But if Maury starts, that'll be fantastic. And obviously we have England going to Cardiff and England taking on the Welsh. Now, we've got Scotland are obviously about to play Wales the next few minutes. So please check in back onto the YouTube channel and watch it. I'll be back there with my good friend Garrett. And we're going to be talking everything about, what's going to be an amazing Scottish win for Scotland. But, John, do you want to see any big changes for taking on the Welsh in 2 weeks' time in Cardiff?
For me, I'd probably say keep a halfback combination. Again, I'm a massive fan of Ollie Lawrence. I think, in midfield, we had 3 playmakers. We had Ford, Farrell, and Slade. Do we need all 3 of them on the pitch at the same time? Probably not. Do we need something a little bit different in that centres? That's where you think Ollie Lawrence gives a bit more go forward compared to Henry Slade, in my opinion. And so I think that's what we change. I think probably keep the back 3. I'll probably say give Daly another chance. If it doesn't work well, we change it. Maybe look to start Max Malins. So for me, that'll probably be my ideal back line. I think in the forward pack, I'm settled with the second rows, Johnny Hill and Marrow. They seem to get they seem to starting to get some chemistry together. And obviously Johnny Hill got a try today. And for the front row, I do like Mako and Sink. And we can talk about the hooker. I think Luke Cowan-Dickey's really, really starting to make a push for that 2 jersey. I
Yeah.
think he's really put his hand up, saying like, Eddie Jones, look at me. I think I'm here. You know,
it's quite fun where it's been. It was Dylan Hartley, then Jamie George bided his time, and then he got a shot. And it looks like Lewis County-Dickey's been biding his time, and then it's going to be him. But yeah, I mean, we could talk all day about today's game, and a big result for everybody in the Six Nations. Obviously, got Ireland playing France tomorrow, and again, join into the RugbyPass YouTube channel after that match for even more awesome, in-depth analysis. But we are just about to head off to watch the Scotland-Wales game. What's your thoughts quickly, John? Do you think Scotland are going to keep on the form? Do you think the Welsh are going to fight back and do something? What do you think?
I think, you know, that Scottish team is exciting for me, you know. Like, taking away my bias as an England fan last week, that Scottish team's really, really exciting. They've got a lot to offer. And I think if Finn Russell and Stuart Hogg really are, like, again, how they played last week, I think, like, it's just slightly too much for the Welsh. I think I got the Scottish winning about by 12 points in my mind. I think just the creativity in the back line, and in terms of, you got like Big Duan on the wings and stuff like that. For me, the Scott Bock, you like to call him. So for me, I think they just have a bit more flair and just enough firepower to take him over the edge.
I'll agree with you, John. I had 12 points on it as well, but let's hope. Let's hope. So, guys, we're going to tune out just now. We'll let you all get sat and watch the game. So it's going to be a farewell from me, Halde Pottinger. Please follow me on Instagram. You'll get both of our links down below. Follow me at Halde Pottinger. You'll get John at John Okafor. It's just down for us to say goodbye. I did have this ready to give to you, John, as a where the game was going. And to be honest, after the first 5 minutes, I was going to be dusting it. But just for you, because I like you, John, I'm glad I'm not having to give it to you. It goes back into the Murrayfield cupboard where it spends lots of its time. So for me, any final words, John?
Yeah, just make sure you give us a follow on Instagram. We've got Halde Pottinger and myself, John Okafor __. Same with the YouTube channel as well. Just type in John Okafor straight from here and check out my channel. Make sure before you leave, head to the RugbyPass website. I'm currently modeling the RugbyPass t-shirt, as you can see, for this week's bit of merchandise. So make sure you have a browse on the website. We've got all your needs, from hats, beanies, sweatshirts, tracksuit bottoms, whatever you can name, we've got it. So I think that is it from us.
I think it is. So we're going to love you to leave you. I will check in with you again soon. Thank you, guys.
Take care.